would C.S. Lewis have become a Catholic if he was alive today? Well, obviously, we don't know. I certainly don't know. And in a way, it's a slightly improper question, because who am I to judge another's servant? But it's an interesting question, because it throws into relief certain aspects of church history over the last 50 or so years since C.S. Lewis died, because the Church of England, to which Lewis belonged, has undergone significant changes, many of which Lewis himself foresaw and spoke against. And to a certain extent, the Catholic Church has changed too, or at any rate, it has, what's the right word? The aggiornamento, the updating, the speaking into the context of the present situation more intelligently, more sensitively. That's the great aim behind the Second Vatican Council, which had only begun to meet when C.S. Lewis died in 1963. If Lewis had lived to see the changes, what he would have regarded as the adverse changes in Anglicanism, and had lived to see what I think he would have regarded as the positive changes in Catholicism, then it's, I think, not unlikely that he would have swum the Tiber. But as Tolkien noted, Lewis had been raised in Ulster, Northern Ireland, a very Protestant, a very anti-Catholic cultural context, had given birth to C.S. Lewis, and so he had quite a lot of societal and historical and cultural baggage to offload, more so than the average person in Britain, much more so, for instance, than I had. I come from the south of England, and I although I was raised to be rather suspicious of Catholics, I wasn't raised as I think probably Lewis was, to assume that Catholics were all, the enemy to a certain extent. Even today, I'm afraid to say, in Northern Ireland, the culture there is still very, very sectarian. Thank God, much, much less so than it was. And it's not now generally issuing in violence. But it's still a very sectarian society. And it's hard for those of us who haven't been born and raised in that condition to understand exactly what it meant for Lewis to be an Ulsterman. It's surprising. I think we should applaud Lewis for all the steps he made to befriend people like Tolkien and other Catholics, and to adopt so many Catholic beliefs, like belief in purgatory and like a reverence for the Blessed Sacrament. And Lewis went to confession, and he fasted on Fridays, and he had a high natural theology. And for an Anglican, he was extremely Catholic friendly. Who knows whether he would have swum the Tiber if he'd lived longer? It doesn't really concern us. It doesn't matter. The point is that he, as St. John Paul II, the great Pope, said, C.S. Lewis knew his apostolate and he did it.
Well said, Father. And I read a lot of Catholic literature, Orthodox literature, and Protestant Anglican literature, and he's quoted in all these places. Everybody's been renewed by C.S. Lewis. And so, I think the Lord definitely would have said, good job, well done, my faithful servant. And we can see that fruit, still going on today.